Well, peeps, I've got the colander out so you guys know what that means. It's barrel change day. We have here some Fancy Jasper. This has gone 4 times around in the 60-90 grit, so hopefully by this time it's done, because I'm getting tired of rolling it in 60-90 grit. Well, let's see what we got. I mean, I'm patient, but dang, you know. Come on, Jasper. Get with the freaking program here. But, see the interior shot? And, of course, the first thing I pull out is one of the agates. Okay, now that has... a good chunk of that outer part has come off of there, but certainly not all of it. Everything else looks good. This one likewise, it's still got a pretty good cap of the oh, what do you recall that, the rind, I guess, the non-pretty part of the agate. It's got some on the bottom too, but you know, given the size of this little bugger, I'm afraid if I run it too much more, it's not going to be much there. So this Jasper's looking nice, smoothed off. Some of these pieces had some, oh, I don't know if you call it the, like I said, a rind or whatever, but unattractive looking covering. Looks like a lot of that's gone off. Now here's our Montana moss agate. Yeah, it you know, still looks beat up. It's still got some fractures showing. Another one over here too, but, and I don't, like I said, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but there's a divot in there it's very deep. That's never coming out. So let me get these rinsed off the rest of the way and I'll get the other barrels opened. Alright peeps, next up we have some Girasol Opal. A little barrel check for you. This has been running for 7 days in 120, 220 grit silicone carbide with some ceramic media. Alright, same verse here. We got some pretties to show you. These look like they have smoothed up a great deal. Show you the pretty piece of citrine here. And I always say this, I hope you can see this on the camera, but there's actually a little flash in this one. I don't know if I can't see it in the darn viewfinder. I'm going to try to rig the viewfinder. I'm going to see if I can run the camera through like my Kindle or laptop so I can actually see what I'm holding, because right now, yeah, I see it, but it's really small. But anyway, let me get these rinsed and I'll again be right back with you. Hey guys, I brought you back real quick. I wanted to show you this little trick or tip. This is a denture brush. I don't think they're terribly expensive. This end in this lip, I think, are made for each other. It works really, really good. I mean, this end works good too, but the pointy part, holy smokies, does that work good in there. Get that little crevice cleaned. And finally, we have the green Aventurine with its couple of pieces of blue quartz companions. This stuff has been running in the 500 grit aluminum oxide for the past 7 days. So hopefully we got some pretty smooth stuff in here. Well, certainly looks smooth, I would say. Definitely feels smooth. That spot did not come out, which I actually didn't think it would, but I don't know. This looks like it might be a little lessened, and I am not, you know, I'm not happy about that, but again, trying to grind all that out in a tumbler, you wouldn't have much left. This would go, you know, maybe that size or something, which just randomly picking that up. Now that is one of the ones, it doesn't have any flaws in it. There's no fractures or anything, and there is some like that. It's, well, see, there's a piece. I was going to say it seems like the darker colored stuff, but then I pull the next one out and that's got a fracture. Figures. Okay, well here's one that proves my point. That's, like I said, it seems like the darker colored stuff may have suffered less damage. Or maybe, I don't know, that one's got some issues too and it's pretty dark. But overall it's pretty stuff. And it feels like it might be time to move it on to the next stage. But I'll get them rinsed off and run in a bubble bath overnight. And I'll be back with you nice folks then. Alright peeps, well it's been a few day delay because of some whirlwind adventures Mrs. HCH and I have had, but I got these cataloged, choreographed, cartographed, checked over good, and I'm hemming and hawing a little bit because it's like, well, there's a few imperfections here, but honestly what's there, I don't think by the time you took it out in the grind stage you wouldn't have much of a rock left, and frankly I don't think another week in 120, 220 is going to really, it'll mitigate it a little bit, you know, the couple little problems here and there, but I think I'm just going to say good to go. I'm going to get this loaded up with some 500 grit aluminum oxide, and we're going to get to that nice pre-polish stage. Alrighty, next up we have our green Aventurine, which was last seen running in 500 grit aluminum oxide. Well, from what I can see, it's ready to go on to the white stuff. We're going to the aluminum oxide polish. So hopefully in 7 days that means these guys will be pretty shiny. So anyway, let me get this loaded up. I'll be right back. And finally, we have our troublemaking Fancy Jasper. It's troublemaking because they named it Fancy Jasper, so it feels it can cause trouble, I guess. I don't know. This stuff has rolled around 4 consecutive 7-day periods in 60-90 grit, and frankly, I'm just tired of it. It's time for it to move on. There are some imperfections that may or may not ever come out in the 60-90 grit on some of the stones, but I'm just, you know, my patience is wearing thin with this. It's being trouble and it's going to get treated as such. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up with some 120, 220 grit, and we're going to send it on to the next leg. You know, like I said, when it's all said and done, I may regret this, you know, but again, some of the stuff that I'm seeing, yeah, maybe it would come out, but how many months do you want to roll the stuff? And I've got more of it, so maybe the next round I'll just let it go for 2 months or something if it takes that. I know these, like I said, my tumblers run a little slow, and I've been told that may be part of the problem. Let it go longer, you know, let it go 10 days instead of 7, which I should probably try that too. But what I'm seeing when I'm opening these barrels, I don't really think there's a lot more grinding that would happen with that extra 3 days. It just doesn't feel like there's anything much left. So that's what I'm basing my, you know, I think after about 7 days that stuff's pretty well spent. I might be wrong, but that's what I'm seeing, so that's what I'm going by. But like I said, maybe at the end of the video segment here, or the video series, we'll see who was right or wrong, or how good these look. Well, there we go, folks. 7 more days, and we'll see what we got results-wise. I got something in phase 2, something in phase 3, and something in phase 4. So that's a pretty wide spectrum. I suspect we're going to start diverging paths here shortly. But anyway, we'll see you nice folks in 7 days to see some results. Thank you for watching. Roll out the barrel. Roll out the barrel of rocks. Let's see what we got. Will it be shiny or not? Howdy, folks. Green Aventurine. This is the polish stage. Cross your fingers. Well, peeps, so far so good. I'm kind of liking that shine. Obviously, they need a good burnish overnight, but You know, it's just too bad about the fracturing, and you know, like I said, some of this stuff would have been nice to get out, but I didn't want tiny little pebbles. So yeah, let me get these rinsed off the rest of the way, and I'll be right back. Alright peeps, we got her loaded up with the ivory soap for the burnish. I got some water in there, and I get buttoned up and back on the tumbler for another 24 hours. When I took these into the house to give them a super rinse and get the Mrs. HC8 seal of approval, I made it about 4 steps away from the shop and was told by a deer in a very loud, snorty, blowy manner that she wasn't appreciative of me interrupting her evening meal. So needless to say, I jumped, she jumped, and we both went our separate ways. Now we have the Girasol Opal, which has been running in the 500 grit aluminum oxide for the past 7 days. So we'll see what kind of shenanigans this stuff got up to. Yeah, looks pretty good. That piece is still a little bit wet, but yeah, it feels smooth. Let me get them rinsed off the rest of the way and we'll see what we got. Alright peeps, it's reloaded in the barrel. I didn't see any major issues, and I decided I might as well give them a bubble bath regardless, because it'll make it easier to inspect them, blah blah blah. So a couple tablespoons of borax, bubble bath, and we'll check them tomorrow. And bringing up the rear, we have our Fancy Jasper agate mixture. Fancy Jasper agate mixture. So let's see what we got. This stuff has been running in 120, 220 grit silicone carbide for the past 7 days. So I was starting to lose my patience with this, and I may have rushed it a bit, but dadgummit, it seems like 28 days and 60, 90 grit should have done it. I am contemplating checking out the rock shed once again and seeing about procuring some of the 4670 grit or one of the others like that, just to see if that might speed it up. But let me get these rinsed off. I'll be right back. Sorry about that peeps, but I kind of omitted filming the thrilling borax filling of the Fancy Jasper. Didn't give you a sneak peek on it either. I want to look at it. I saw some issues, but nothing horrible, I guess, is the best I can say at this point, but I figured I might as well just run them. So in a few seconds, your time, or video time, we'll have one hopefully done with its journey, another one ready to start its polish journey, and hopefully the Fancy Jasper will be ready to go on to 500 grit. But until then, we'll see you in a few seconds.